world want to actually snipe. And in this video, I want to share with you how you can prevent snipe. And what is snipe? Now, it's not me sniping at you or anything like no, nothing like that. It's snipe on the end of your piece of wood. Now, in this video, we're going to concentrate on the surface planer. Now, I have done videos before about snipe using a thicknesser. Very common when you're using something like one little DeWalt box planes, you know, the little site planes, tabletop jobbies. This sort of thing is a different kettle of fish, and today we're going to be talking about the snipe that you can get using the surfacer, or a jointer even, which is a much longer machine. I would say more substantial and designed specifically for jointing the edge of boards. But if you've got one of those over and under machines, a combination machine like this one, well then you might want to know how to get rid of the snipe and what is actually causing it. Now if I show you here that this, the planer is set up correctly. It should be. I've just been using it. And there is no snipe. There's nothing there to indicate that there is any snipe. Okay? No, you're not convinced. Oh, you want to know what snipe is? Well, allow me to force the snipe. Yes. Ah, blimey, why am I doing this? Anyway, it's an indication that your outfeed table is not correctly set with your cutter block. No. Oh dear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the outfeed table a little bit, okay? Lock it off, right? So now basically my outfeed table is set too low. It is lower than the cutter block. So let's try this again. This is dangerous. Oh dear, what we're doing. I'll try and keep my fingers, keep my digits. I got sniped! Did you see that? Well, allow me to show you. Can you see that on the end of that board? I could probably do a little bit better than that. If I grab a straight edge, 2 seconds. La 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 la. Got a Robert Chesterton rule. Look at that. That is snipe. Can you see that? There's a gap. There's a gap underneath. Can you see it? There it is, you know. You don't want that, do you? Imagine that, all right? You're gluing 2 boards together, both with snipe. That, what, extra millimetre taken out of there is going to be 2 millimetres. You end up with one great gap. So that is what we call snipe. Like I say, it's more common on box planers and what have you, or harder to actually do anything about. Often that's the case because you haven't got no support. So it's coming off the back roller and basically falling onto the cutter block. And then, of course, the snipe. The problem with box planers are short, so you have the rolls are quite close to the cutter block. So as soon as it leaves the actual rear roller, the first roller, feed roller, and it comes to the cutter block, it can do that into the cutter block. It's very common. Now, what do we do to stop this from happening? Now, I've already created my snipe, right? Now, what we've got to get that level, there's various ways, just a couple ways of doing it actually. We'll do it this way first. So let's move that out of the way. And at the moment, if I turn the cutter block, it's moving the piece of wood. See that? There it goes, moving the piece of wood. So basically, that's telling me that the cutter block is higher than the outfeed table. All right? So what you want to do is adjust the outfeed table to the top of the cutter block. And you can do it this way. You find your highest point, so as just about touching about there, okay? And then you can move the outfeed table up until that cutter block, the knife, is not engaging and moving the piece of wood. It's just skimming it. You want it just to skim it. So I'm moving it up, until finally, it's not touching. Right, maybe that's too much. Yeah, about there, all right? So now I can just sort of feed it there. Do you see that? It's probably still too high. The cut block, that is. So you just come down up a little bit, and then lock it off. Make sure you lock it off, and check it again. See, that is too high. So I need to bring it up a touch more. The outfeed table. Lock it up. You see, when you lock the table, it seems to shift it a little bit, so you have to double check it. So I'd say that's probably pretty much there. Now, another telltale sign, if you bring the cutter block knife out of the way, if you find that you are hitting the outfeed table, right, it might be because your wood's not true, so that might be part of it. But if it's doing that, the likelihood is the outfeed table is going to be too low from the top of the cutter block. Let's see what happens. So that's where that one was. We'll leave that on there so you can see it, so we can make a comparison. I didn't feel any snipe. We'll grab that straight edge. So there's no gap there at all. So that's one way you can do it. As you see there is a gap. You can actually physically see the shape of the snipe in the end. And depending on how poorly aligned it is, or depending how deep it is. So in fact what's happening is, as you come across here, you're falling off the back edge into the actual cutter block itself. Right, the other way you can do it, to set it up, let's make it wrong again. Let's make it wrong, back down we go. If it's too high, you want me to push the wood across, okay? So bear that in mind. Right, I've brought it down again. Let's mimic the snipe again so you can see it. So let's cut it with this. Ouch! Just poke myself a bit now. Which one's this one here? That's what I was doing. Let's mimic the snipe again. Even worse that time. Don't think I need a straight edge. See, so that is your snipe, okay? You see that? Yeah, so you clearly don't want that, do you? Right, so how do you remove that? How do you adjust it? So the other way you can adjust it, which is actually really easy. Remember that at the moment this table is currently too low. So what I do is I make a cut. So it just goes over the outfeed table like that. Turn it off. Now what I want to do is, effectively what I've done is I've created this, little, well, I'll create a snipe in the opposite direction, I suppose. It's not technically snipe. I've removed a piece of material. That is now my guide. So all I need to do now, loosen it off, is bring the table up to it. So I'm pushing down here on the outfeed table, and on top of the block. And I push that table up to that. If we go too far, you'll lift it off the infeed table. So you bring it down so you've got contact all the way along. Okay? So it's the outfeed table and the infeed table in this case. So we lock it off, and let's see whether or not we can force the snipe again. And if I've got a piece of wood to snipe on both sides now. So we'll do a couple of swipes first, so I can see it. We'll do a few swipes. Right, we'll remove that snipe. See if we get any snipe. Nope. No snipe there. Try it in the opposite direction. So that's the end that had the snipe. Ignore the knot. Got to tear out the knot, but there's no snipe right on the end of that piece of wood, is there? No. So that's how you can easily adjust your surface plane or jointer. It's more ready for the surface plane like this one, the combination machine, which has the thicknesser and the surfacer. But it's actually quite easy to do, and it's one of the things that kind of it stresses people out. But if you're worried, right, if you're doing a lot of, like for instance, you're doing much wider boards, do exactly what I showed you, but do it on both sides of the table. So bring it, obviously in this case, right against the wall in a minute. So you can bring your fence right over like so, and do exactly the same on the other side, and that way you'll know that the table is in alignment with the actual cutter block. It shouldn't require much adjustment, if any at all. But you might have to do a bit of tweaking here and there. So it might be like that, you see. So if that's the case, if you can't get it right across the width of the cutter block, you're going to have to adjust the actual table itself physically. So, which you should have adjustment like we have in places there, and there's no one down here. So they're getting in the right place. Because you don't want a wonky cutter block, no, because you'll get sniped. Anyway, I hope you found that of interest, and I hope it helps somebody, because that's kind of why I do this channel. And also I kind of enjoy it as well, to be honest. Yeah, anyway, please beat the old like button and maybe subscribe to the channel. And maybe the little bell icon, right? Because then you will get a warm, fuzzy feeling in your pocket every time I upload another video. And please, if you got anything to say, leave it in the comments down below. But be nice, or hide ya. Toodaloo.